In the world of finance, few names carry as much weight as Ray Dalio. As the founder of Bridgewater Associates, the world's largest hedge fund, Dalio has spent decades studying economic cycles, financial markets, and global trends. His insights have made him one of the most respected investors of our time, and when he speaks about the future of the economy, people listen. Recently, Dalio has been warning about the possibility of a major financial collapse. In this video, we'll dive into his predictions, break down what they mean, and explore how you can prepare for what might be coming. Dalio's understanding of economic cycles is rooted in history. Over the years, he's researched the rise and fall of major economies and has identified patterns that repeat across time. He believes that we are currently at a critical juncture, one that could lead to a significant economic shift. So, what does Dalio foresee and how should you prepare for it? Let's explore. Part 1. The Economic Cycle and Dalio's Principles. Dalio's framework for understanding the economy revolves around his concept of big debt crises. In his famous book, Principles for Navigating Big Debt Crises, he outlines the patterns he's identified throughout history. These patterns, he argues, are crucial for understanding what happens before, during, and after a financial collapse. At the core of Dalio's philosophy is the idea that economic systems go through long-term cycles, and these cycles are driven by debt. Specifically, he believes that economies go through three distinct phases: a period of rising debt, a moment of reckoning when that debt becomes unsustainable, and a financial collapse. After the collapse, economies typically enter a phase of restructuring and recovery before the cycle begins anew. Dalio has pointed out that while each cycle is unique, the patterns are remarkably similar across time. Whether it's the Great Depression of the 1930s or the global financial crisis of 2008, the underlying dynamics, excessive debt, unsustainable borrowing, and inevitable collapse, have played out time and time again. Dalio uses historical data to predict that we're approaching the end of a major economic cycle, and the next phase of this cycle could be a significant downturn. Part 2. Dalio's warning: the next financial collapse. According to Dalio, the next financial collapse is likely to occur because of the unprecedented level of debt that has built up globally. Governments, corporations, and individuals have borrowed at rates never seen before, creating an environment where debt servicing is becoming increasingly difficult. Dalio has consistently warned that this mounting debt could lead to a major financial crisis in the coming years. One of the reasons Dalio is so concerned about the future is the rising gap between income growth and debt levels. As more people and nations accumulate debt, the pressure to service that debt grows. In a typical cycle, when people start to feel that they can no longer afford their debt obligations, they begin to cut back on spending, which causes a contraction in the economy. This leads to falling asset prices, rising unemployment, and ultimately a financial collapse. But it's not just the private sector that Dalio is worried about. Governments around the world have also piled on debt, and they've been using aggressive monetary policy, such as low interest rates and quantitative easing, to prop up the economy. While these policies may have worked in the short term, Dalio believes they have created a dangerous bubble that will eventually burst. Dalio also points to the changing global balance of power as another factor contributing to the risk of financial collapse. He argues that the rise of China as an economic superpower is leading to a shift in the global order, which could contribute to instability. Historically, shifts in global power dynamics have been accompanied by financial crises, and Dalio believes we're entering another period of heightened geopolitical risk. Part 3. Dalio's Predictions: how it will unfold. So, how does Dalio see the next financial collapse playing out? While he acknowledges that predicting the exact timing and nature of the crisis is difficult, he has outlined several key factors that will likely contribute to the coming storm. Debt crisis. As mentioned earlier, Dalio believes the most significant factor driving the collapse is the unsustainable rise in global debt. He predicts that we are entering a period where debt will become so overwhelming that it will lead to defaults, bankruptcies, and widespread financial instability. This will trigger a domino effect throughout the global economy, leading to falling asset prices, credit contraction, and rising unemployment. Currency devaluation. Another major prediction from Dalio is the potential for massive currency devaluation. As debt levels rise, countries may be forced to print more money to meet their obligations, leading to inflation. This process, called currency devaluation, has historically been a feature of many financial collapses. Dalio believes that the US dollar, as the world's reserve currency, is particularly vulnerable to this phenomenon. Wealth inequality. Dalio also highlights the growing wealth inequality as a contributing factor to the coming collapse. He believes that the widening gap between the wealthy and the rest of society could lead to social unrest, which could exacerbate the economic downturn. When wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few, it can lead to political instability, which can further destabilize the economy. Global conflict. Finally, Dalio warns that the rising tensions between the US and China could lead to conflict, either economic or military, which could trigger a global recession or depression. The shifting balance of power and the struggle for dominance in key industries such as technology could lead to financial contagion that spreads throughout the world. Part 4. How to prepare for the next financial collapse. Now that we've looked at Dalio's predictions, the big question is, how can you prepare for the next financial collapse? Dalio himself has been very vocal about the steps individuals and governments should take to safeguard their wealth and their financial future. Let's break down some of his key recommendations. Diversify your assets. Dalio is a strong advocate for diversification. He recommends that individuals spread their wealth across various asset classes to reduce risk. This means investing in a combination of stocks, bonds, real estate, and commodities. By diversifying, you can protect yourself from the risk of any one asset class suffering huge losses during a financial collapse. Invest in gold and other safe haven assets. One of Dalio's key pieces of advice is to hold some portion of your wealth in gold and other safe haven assets. In times of financial uncertainty, assets like gold tend to retain their value and even appreciate. Dalio also recommends investing in other assets that tend to do well during times of economic turmoil, such as inflation-protected bonds or foreign currencies. Prepare for a decline in asset prices. Dalio warns that during a financial collapse, asset prices will likely fall significantly. This could include real estate, stocks, and other investments. He suggests that individuals prepare for a decline in the value of their assets by being conservative with their financial planning and maintaining adequate cash reserves. Keeping a portion of your wealth in cash can help you weather the storm and take advantage of opportunities when asset prices hit rock bottom. Stay flexible and adaptable. Dalio emphasizes the importance of being flexible and adaptable in uncertain times. Economic conditions are constantly changing, and those who are able to pivot and adjust their strategies will have the best chance of surviving and thriving during a collapse. This means staying informed, being prepared to adjust your investments, and having a mindset that is open to change. Focus on long-term thinking. Finally, Dalio advises individuals to think long-term. During periods of economic instability, it's easy to get caught up in the short-term volatility of the market. However, Dalio stresses that the key to long-term financial success is staying focused on your goals and sticking to a well-thought-out investment strategy. If you can maintain a long-term perspective and avoid panic, you'll be better positioned to ride out the storm and come out ahead. Conclusion. Ray Dalio's predictions about the next financial collapse are not meant to cause fear but rather to help individuals understand the risks ahead and take proactive steps to protect their wealth. With the right preparation, you can weather the storm of a financial collapse and come out the other side stronger. Dalio's insights into economic cycles, debt, and the global balance of power offer a roadmap for understanding how the next financial crisis may unfold. By following his advice to diversify your assets, invest in safe havens, stay flexible, and focus on long-term goals, you can position yourself for success in an uncertain financial future. The next financial collapse may be inevitable, but with the right preparation and mindset, you can navigate it with confidence. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on financial insights and how to prepare for the future. Stay informed, stay prepared, and take control of your financial future.